Summer Spellman's, Harriet Bibby, health crisis continues to plague her in Coronation Street and worry her loved ones, and when she ends up collapsing once more, her life is on the line. Elsewhere, the battle lines are drawn over baby Alfie when Imran Habib, Charlie D'Amelio, starts digging for information that could ruin Abby's chances of custody, but how will she fight back? And Sally Metcalf, Sally Dinova, comes to a big decision to she can finally have some alone time with husband Tim, Joe Dutton. Monday, April 18th. Summer Hayton. When Amy tackles her in Victoria Gardens, a pale Summer loses her temper and tells Amy to back off. Jacob has taken advantage of Evelyn over-ordering Alco Pops. Having bought them, he is selling them in Victoria Gardens for a profit to pay the rent. Simon reports Jacob to the police, and as they arrive at Victoria Gardens, Jacob does a runner, leaving the final 2 boxes of Alco Pops on the bench. The police officers find Summer slumped on the bench next to the boxes of Alco Pops and, assuming her to be drunk, take her down to the station. Amy and Oddie call at the police station and tell Craig about Summer's arrest and how they suspect she might be suffering from her diabetes. Craig hurries to the cells, where he finds Summer in a diabetic coma. Fearing the worst, Craig shouts for someone to call an ambulance. Will Summer be okay? Imran meets up with Ben and instructs him to find out everything he can about Abby Webster. Toya is not impressed with Imran's dirty tricks, but when she hears Abby and Elliot discussing ways to scupper Imran's chances of custody, she tells Imran she supports his plan to prove Abby is not fit to be a mother. In the neonatal unit, Abby tells them she wants them all to be a part of Alfie's life. Will Toya still support Imran? Fed up with the fact that Daniel is spending so much time with Nicky working on the Edinburgh trip, Daisy calls at the school with a packed lunch for them both. When Mrs. Crawshaw tells her to knock before she goes in and then seems surprised when Daniel introduces Daisy as his girlfriend, Daisy's paranoia reaches new heights. She tells Jenny she is going to find Nicky a man to keep her away from Daniel. Mariah is horrified when Beth shows her a photo in the Gazette of the fight at Rick's funeral. Ed and Paul find a hold orb containing £17,000 under the floorboards at Rick's house. What will Gary do with the money? A new client calls at the solicitors and insists Adam sees her right away. Adam apologizes to Sarah for the fact he had to work on a bank holiday and promises to prioritize more family time. Wednesday, April 20th. In the nick of time for Daisy. Aware that it's Nicky's first day in her new job, Daisy suggests to Daniel that they all meet up for drinks after work as she'd like to get to know her better. Nicky arrives at the Rovers, unaware that Daisy is trying to set her up with her ex Ashley. Nicky is embarrassed when Ashley clearly recognizes her. As Nicky makes her excuses and leaves, Daisy is stunned to discover that Ashley knew Nicky when she was a sex worker. Daisy decides the time has come to confront Daniel. How will he react? At the same time, Ben calls at the solicitors and, having failed to find any dirt on Abby, suggests that for a one-off fee, he could set her up for a fall. Imran refuses and instructs him to keep on digging. Billy summons Todd and Paul to the cafe and tells them about Summer's eating disorder and how they all need to look out for her. Summer is mortified that they have all joined forces and is upset when Oddie quizzes her about a basket of food she has bought for the food bank. She realizes Todd has asked Oddie to keep an eye on her. Todd feels guilty when Billy reveals she was telling the truth, but Billy makes a shocking discovery. When Eileen invites George for dinner and asks him to stay the night, she is hurt when he makes an excuse. As Todd and George discuss the funeral arrangements for a Mr. Little, it becomes apparent that he's a bigamist and there are 2 Mrs. Littles, blissfully unaware of each other. Sally returns from Gina's to find Elaine and Tim ensconced in front of the TV. Realizing that Elaine has got her feet well and truly under the table, Sally's miffed. When Sally asserts that it's time Elaine moved out so they can spend some time in the bedroom, Tim hides his anxiety. As Kelly irons her dress for Laura's funeral, Gary and Maria dread the day ahead. A weary Kelly returns from her mum's funeral. Gary offers to bank the £17,000 for her, but a cagey Kelly makes out she'll do it herself. Friday, April 22nd. By E. George. When Eileen reveals how George curtailed their evening together in favor of his cat, Mary's mystified and questions whether George actually has a cat at all. Sean overhears Todd and George discussing how best to ensure two women don't find out about each other. He jumps to the wrong conclusion and drops the bombshell that George hasn't got a cat, but he has got another woman. Eileen storms into the Rovers and confronts Todd and George. Daisy confronts Nicky, but is left thoughtful when Nicky makes it clear she does not have designs on Daniel. She asks Daniel to give Nicky a wide berth, but she is furious when she finds them looking cozy in the cafe. Mrs. Crawshaw summons Nicky to a meeting and tells her they need to discuss her past. Nicky confirms that she used to work in the sex industry. What will Mrs. Crawshaw do? Nicky explains to Daniel that videos and images from her past are all over the school and she has been suspended. Daniel's furious and assumes Daisy is responsible. Daisy confides in Jenny how hurt she is that Daniel thinks she'd do something so malicious. Sally finally bites the bullet and suggests to Elaine it is time she moved out. As they see her off, Tim is sad to see her go whilst Sally can't wait to take advantage of the empty house. But things don't quite go to plan. Imran meets up with Ben and tells him that he needs hard evidence that Abby is back on the drugs before the custody hearing. Billy confirms that he's arranged for Summer to attend a diabetes support group and her revision can wait. Summer reluctantly goes along and meets Erin, who gives her his number. Billy is pleased to see her making friends.